there's just stories out right now how the Department of Homeland Security ended their data mining program because they were using real people instead of made-up names. And FBI data mining reached, according to the New York Times, just 2 days ago, it cast a much wider net than it was supposedly acknowledging.
Exactly. Sam, we're in a very scary moment. If you kind of chart the closing down of an open society, it doesn't move like a left-to-right diagonal on a graph. The way it moves historically is in a series of tipping points, what Malcolm Gladwell called tipping points. And what you just mentioned is one of those tipping points. When the FISA surveillance plans were reported by the New York Times, and people in America understood that basically anyone could be under surveillance. That was one of those tipping points. When we made it legal essentially to torture people, that was one of those tipping points. And we're at, on the verge of a next critical tipping point, which is the president has the power to declare any, no matter how innocent, you, me, an enemy combatant, and hold them in a Navy brig in solitary confinement for years, making it difficult for us to see our families, difficult for us to talk to a lawyer. Most Americans don't realize this. And the day after that first arrest of someone that you and I identify with will be a very different America, because that's how societies close down, is when they're open societies, not in a coup, not in a night of the long knives, but by a series of assaults on democracy. And we've seen this work time and time again.
Naomi, is it necessary? Now, you mentioned a lot of different places through history and through the globe that have headed down this path. Is it necessary for the government to control the media apparatus, or is it just simply enough to have some type of which sort of trades off a notion of a lack of regulation in terms of ownership and sort of as willing accomplices?
I hear what you're saying, and it's a very good question. Readers of my book at the end will see that, how comfortable corporations, capitalism can be with fascism, basically. In Germany, everybody knows that capitalism thrived in a state system like that. And what I mention at the end of the book is that Yahoo turned over records of Internet users in China to the Politburo, and the ACLU is suing Boeing for participating in renditions. So there is no guarantee. You're absolutely right to ask that question, because there's no guarantee that the free market will save us. The free market is very comfortable with systems like this and other times and places in history. What I do want to say about the media is, and I have to say as an aside, Sam, that I've never had an experience with the mainstream media as I have with this book. I mean, I live in the mainstream media. I've written for all the major media. My friends and, people I love dearly are basically running the mainstream media. And I've never written a book or a set of essays where people in the mainstream media are saying to me, I can't publish this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not saying this is wrong or it's badly argued or you haven't backed it up. They're saying, I can't publish it. I've never had that experience. So I don't think that the kind of general kind of in a democracy tendency of the corporate media to avoid a controversy is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about one stage further, where what happens is the state begins to target the free press. And I've got a chapter called Target the Press, where organizations like Reporters Without Borders or Committee to Protect Journalists document that reporters in Iraq are being seized, harassed, threatened, intimidated by the U.S. military, and that has a ripple effect. But not only that, reporters are at risk more than ever here at home, believe it or not, in a much more direct way than just this corporate control. For example, Greg Palast, who wrote a bestseller criticizing the Bush administration, was investigating security. Josh Wolf, no relation, a blogger in San Francisco, is in jail for a year because he didn't want to reveal a source. People who track this are saying that prosecutions of U.S. journalists are at an all-time high. And scariest of all to me is the example of Bill Keller. There was this drumbeat.
Naomi, let's wait to talk about Bill Keller. Can you hold to the other end
Sure,
of this?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll pick this up on the other side. We're talking to Naomi Wolf. The book is The End of America, Letter of Warning to a Young Patriot. Seder on Sundays. We'll take your calls a little bit later in the show, 866-303-2270. Naomi Wolf will join us on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.